What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is August 22nd of 2017. So as you all know, if you watch my channel, you probably understand by now that I'm extremely exuberant about a cryptocurrency based in China, and it is no other than NEO, or formerly known as AntShares. Speaking of its previous alias AntShares, it was actually one of the first videos on my channel because I've been trading and investing in NEO for quite some time, even through its past history, and it has had an absolutely major run-up since my last video. So I thought not only on a technical side I should redo my analysis on it, but also in a fundamental sense. There was a few key aspects that I missed covering in my previous video on AntShares, and now that it's been rebranded to NEO and there's been a lot of updates to both the technical and fundamental analysis of NEO, I think it's time we redo the video. So I'm going to be talking about all kinds of reasons why I'm optimistic on NEO, its technology, its objective market, its team. And then also, I'm going to dive into some resources that you guys can go to if you want to learn a little bit more before you invest in it. I've got some great videos and other resources that can help you learn those extra key factors that I'm not going to cover today, so you can get the full glimpse of NEO and really feel safe before you go out and invest in it. So you've got to do your own research, but I want to definitely provide the resources as much as I can. That all being said, before we dive into the analysis and take a look at NEO, we've always got to start off with the numbers. So let's dive into the numbers, folks. We can see here that NEO has taken the leaderboards at position 9 with a stellar market cap of $1.7 billion. It's beautiful to see this, folks. As someone who's been optimistic on this for a while, it's crazy to see it at this valuation because for a long time, NEO was nowhere close to this valuation. It was around the hundreds of millions for the past few months, and people said that was overtly ambitious and it was never going to go higher. Well, folks, it proved them wrong, and the bulls have been successful on NEO so far. And we can see that this isn't some silly pump and dump. This is a serious run-up, and a lot of institutional money is pouring into it, sitting at $73 million in volume over the past 24 hours. So it's definitely becoming one of the big players, whether people like it or not. And we can see that the circulating supply here is around 50 million out of 100 million. Now, to answer the question that a lot of you are probably wondering, what is the max supply? CoinMarketCap hasn't updated it, but it's sitting at 100 million. It's not going to change. 100 million is the total supply we will ever see in NEO. That being said, there's also a general concern that comes up, and I want to try and quickly resolve it and give you an easy solution or understanding of it. A lot of people are worried that the circulating supply is half of the total supply. And the reason for that is because the NEO team themselves own 50% of the circulating supply. Now, that being said, I understand it sounds like something to worry about. It sounds like they're trying to run away with the money. That's not the case. They're actually utilizing these 50 million NEO that will eventually go back onto exchanges and traded to help fund for the project. As we'll learn throughout the video, the NEO smart economy concept is very difficult to achieve. It's a very ambitious project, and it's going to need a lot of resources, time, and money to do that. And that is what the NEO that they're holding is going to be used for. So that'll eventually come back into the circulating supply, and I don't think it's going to devalue NEO whatsoever. It's just going to bring that NEO that's been being held for quite some time back into circulation. So just wanted to kind of clear the smoke with that. And there's also a really nice Reddit post that I went to just demonstrating from the white paper the statistics of how NEO was distributed back when it was ANS or AntShares. So you can of course pause the video and look at that as well as a good resource. But now let's dive into the fundamental analysis and look at what NEO is trying to achieve. NEO itself is trying to build the smart economy network, the online network that can help us exchange physical and digital assets without any middleman, without any exchanges, peer-to-peer. There's a lot of ambitious projects that are going on in NEO and outside of just actually exchanging assets, but it's a really interesting wide range category for cryptocurrency. And I think it's really trying to give competitors like Ethereum a run for their money. So looking a little bit more deeper, there's some great descriptions. NEO was founded in 2014 and it's been around for quite some time. So this isn't some recent, kind of pumped up ICO. This is a serious project that's been around for quite some time and has had a development team behind the project. We can see that the smart economy is aiming to do 3 simple things: to bring digital assets, a digital persona, and then also bring a smart contract to work to bring exchanges to what is known as the smart economy under NEO's definition. So in the sense of digital assets, trading ownership of items, and then also taking your digital identity and being able to utilize smart contracts from a variety of different languages, actually looking to be much more wide scale than Ethereum, in bringing that to life. So I want to dive a little more deep into some of the projects for Neo. However, you can see that they've got a wonderful ecosystem built up behind the blockchain. It's not some joke. They've actually got a lot of people who are getting behind this. And I'm telling you all, the fact that this is China's first massively adopted cryptocurrency gives it that stellar advantage. And a lot of people are starting to adopt it. So it's good to see the potential early on in this. So like I said, reinforcing as what I was saying earlier, they're really trying to reinforce on the idea of peer-to-peer digital asset exchanges without that need of a middleman. So for example, when you and I trade cryptocurrencies, for example, let's say for example you and I wanted to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, we need to use something like an exchange like Bittrex. This is bringing a decentralized aspect to it without that middleman. So it's really powerful. And not to mention, they've got the technology to back this up and the developer flexibility to really achieve what they're aiming to. In the sense of exchanging, there's going to be a lot of complexities and rules that need to be executed on when we make an exchange, and that's what smart contracts are for. Smart contracts take a little bit of time to truly understand. However, basically imagine them as a sense of code that leave out a set of rules and instructions. And the more flexibility you can give to people using your platform in the sense of diversity of languages, the more you can actually get mass scale adoption and deliver on the promises your platform is trying to deliver. We can see that they already have C#, Java, and Go as options, and these are widespread languages that are adopted on the masses. However, I'm going to get a little bit more into some of the languages that they're trying to propose later on, where they're actually expanding it to an even further basis, including names like JavaScript as well. You can go to the side here. They've got all kinds of little bits of information about what they're aiming to try and do with their virtual machine and a lot of cool technologies that Neo's trying to expand on. It's not just essentially one target market. There's been talks that Neo's trying to expand into decentralized cloud storage, giving Sia Coin and a lot of other ICOs that have tried to take on that market a run for their money. And if the Neo platform is massively adopted, I don't see how they can't take over these industries and really beat out these ICOs, bringing it all to one platform. It really depends on the fact of smart contracts and whether or not people can flexibly use the platform of Neo. So lots of interesting technology here. They've got also a wonderful timeline here that you can scroll through and you can learn a little bit about how they've achieved what they've done. They've gotten a lot of media and press coverage. As I said, fundamentally being China's first cryptocurrency or first blockchain launched in 2014, they've got a lot of benefits. And the timeline just looks more and more optimistic as you scroll along it. Right here, you can also see, I always tell you all, make sure whatever you're investing in has a nice development team. And we can see that they have a nice set of developers here, along with other people from different backgrounds. So they have people who are helping in marketing, testing, engineers, community operations, and they've got a good set of developers as well. So I really think, though I can't dive extensively into each one of these candidates, you see they have a professional team working on this. Neo, with all that Neo that it's holding, needs developers to really deliver on this. That's why they have so much Neo, and while they're using it to fund and help develop the project. So it seems like they're being, taking this project serious. They've been around since 2014. It's no laughing matter. They really are trying to achieve this ambitious project. And I'm really humbled at the fact that they're trying to develop it. And one person I want to look at in particular is Da, who is the co-founder of Neo. We can go here. I have his Twitter up here. You can go follow him. He's a great resource to follow on updates on Neo. And he seems like a very humble guy. If you want to learn more about the team, though, you can definitely do some deeper research into it and find more about the Neo team and what they're up to. They've also got a Twitter page themselves for the Neo Smart Economy, which I follow as well. So definitely go follow those if you want to get up-to-date information. So going back here, I really want to emphasize before we jump into the technical analysis and a little bit more on the fundamentals, Neo has hopped up on the leaderboard, as I said from the beginning, sitting here at 9th place comparative on market cap. I'm telling you all, if it pulls what Ethereum has, that's going to be a big jump up. And that's what I actually want to look at here as we look at the technical analysis on Bittrex. We can see that Neo had a fantastic run up, and I've been telling you all since I think my video in the past that there was two things that were really giving Neo away as a good long-term position. And it was as simple. You don't have to be some rocket scientist, folks. Cryptocurrencies don't use advanced technical analysis. Altcoins are pretty easy to trade with basic technical analysis and being able to read price action. The only two things that really I needed here to see that this was going to have a major run-up was the fact that the price level was wedging and that we had the 50-day moving average coming here to provide support. It led to a break of the wedge. Now, if you don't know what these indicators are, I recommend you go check out my video on trading cryptocurrencies for beginners. I talk about this and much more that can really help you get the basics of technical analysis to help you start investing and trading in cryptocurrencies and spot run-ups like this. Oops, sorry. to spot run-ups like we saw in NEO here. I mean, this was a massive run-up. I made 100% return, and I sold around this level. I shouldn't have traded it, though, and that's what I'm going to get to on this. A lot of you have been trying to swing trade NEO on a technical aspect, and I understand there's been a big run up like this, and you could have said, oh, I bought down here and I sold it up here, and whatever, or I could have done that, and here's the thing about trading NEO. NEO is going through a very big adoption phase right now. Back here, maybe it was okay to swing trade NEO between the wedge, but folks, I missed out on a lot of the run up here. I'll be honest with you. I did pick the bottom and buy him back in. I literally got here at 780,000 Satoshis, practically picking the bottom. That being said, I want to be honest and fair that I messed up a lot of the run-up because I tried to swing trade it. And you got to be fair and honest in your mistakes and think on the long-term scale. That's the solution here, folks. When you have a dip like this, where you see the price action has gone from around 1,398,000 Satoshis down to 875,000 Satoshis, look at this as an opportunity to buy in the long term. Are you ambitious on the project? Don't try to swing trade it. Don't try to inch a 10% profit off NEO. If you think NEO is going to do what Ethereum is going to do, like I do personally, I think it'll eventually pass Ethereum. I know it's an ambitious statement, but I wouldn't doubt NEO on this in the long term, and I wouldn't try to swing trade it in my opinion. So keep an eye on NEO for the long term. If you believe in the project for the long term, this is a fantastic level to add. But again, you got to do your own research and really think it through. And don't doubt, a lot of you might look at the chart here. If we go to the weekly, it might look a little bit better. You might think that this is overextended and that it can't go any higher. And I'm not going to say that it won't have a continued pullback or maybe cool down for a little while as cryptocurrencies have had quite a run up. But I want to say, a lot of the people said the same thing about Ethereum. They said that there was no more going higher after it had already gone up to around 5 million Satoshis and it wouldn't go higher. And from there on, it tripled. Okay? Now, of course, ever since then, Ethereum's pulled back a little bit. But if you were to sell at that level, you would have missed out on a lot. And I'll be honest, I was one of the naysayers who said Ethereum wasn't going to go higher. But the bulls were right, and it continued to run up. And it's still at higher levels than where they would have sold there. So you really have to think about things in the long term. I will reiterate it, and I'll reiterate it again on every one of my videos where it's asked or brought up. Long-term investors make more on average than those who swing or day trade. It's a fact, folks. It's hard to do those. And you should only have a minimal percentage of your portfolio swing trading these assets that are your long-term holdings, whereas the majority should be in the long-term investment if you truly believe in the technology. So now that we've done a little bit of a technical analysis on NEO, we can't really do too much on the sense of price action. I think that you should add anywhere under 1 million Satoshis for a long-term holding. There's no serious technical pattern here other than the fact that we're going through a pullback. And it looks like if I were to pull up the 21 moving average here, we're getting a pullback to this for this market momentum mover. So, or MOMO as I like to call it. That's a general market term for coins that are just moving up like crazy. So I think we're going to see this slowly flatten out and start to build support here and curve back upwards to new highs. How fast is that going to happen? I'm no magic genie, I can't tell you, and I don't really want to shoot in the dark, but I will tell you all, if you can get down to these levels, it'll be a nice steady return, even if you want to just do a swing trade up to these levels. So definitely keep it on your radar either way. The next thing I want to talk about here is I want to talk about the flexibility on the fundamentals of NEO. I was telling you all how this is kind of putting a competitive nature against Ethereum. And though Ethereum has some slightly different ambitions than NEO, I really want to tell you all the factor of developer flexibility. That is a big thing. Smart contracts are the future of cryptocurrency and how corporate entities are going to start using the blockchain, which is going to mean big money. And I think that NEO developers understand from the start that the flexibility is important. And not only do they already have they had Java and the languages that we had listed on their website with C#, but they're also looking to implement JavaScript and Python. And once they get those in there, folks, that is going to be big. Python and JavaScript are very large adopted languages, and to have that kind of flexibility in a language is really giving Ethereum a run for its money in the sense of developer flexibility. So they've actually got a lot of interesting resources. I'll talk a little bit more later on. There's a video I'm going to reference you to if you want to learn a little bit more about the back end. However, I want to talk about some headlines for NEO. As I said, I want to keep up to date on the fundamental headlines as well. And we recently saw AdX become the first developer app based on the NEO network. And this is really awesome, folks. I've been following AdX for quite some time, and I meant to actually interview the team a while back because I got reached out by one of my fans on my channel. However, there's something in the article that really made it stand out to me. me. So I'm going to read it real quick. The ADX team has just released the ADX Core, the base smart contract that will power the advertising network. So as you all know, ADX is going towards the advertising industry on the blockchain. The team has explored the NEO smart contract system and has evaluated it is very well designed and more beneficial for its operations. Therefore, it is committed to porting the ADX Core to NEO. So not only is it the first developer application on the NEO network, they really believe that it is beneficial to make that switch. So they see that this is a functioning piece of technology, and the code there is enough to operate, or at least the structure and framework is enough for them to code and program their actual core onto the blockchain for NEO. So this is really interesting. I think that ADX has made a very smart decision, not only in publicity, but also in the sense of getting onto the NEO network. I think it's going to benefit them in the long term. And you can see that the run-up has been pretty strong on ADX ever since they made the announcement. So investors are very positive about that, and they're also very positive on NEO in the sense that NEO is actually giving out a dividend. It's another cryptocurrency. It's not NEO. Don't get fooled by the icon. It's something known as gas. Gas is a dividend that's paid out for owning NEO inside your wallet. And I'm going to do a video. Don't worry. I know a lot of you are interested in figuring out how to start doing this because you want to start generating the dividend. I'm going to do a video on how to generate gas inside your wallet. All you really simply need to do is download the wallet client, go through the procedures that you need to obtain the wallet properly, get your NEO transferred over, and then let it sit in there and generate gas for you. It's a whole other cryptocurrency, and it's almost got a $100 million valuation so far. So definitely something interesting to keep on the radar. And it's definitely valued at a nice level as well per actual coin for gas. So definitely keep an eye on gas. Watch it as well as NEO. I think it's something that you could keep and hold. But I would recommend, if you generate enough gas, to sell it and re-put it back into NEO. And the reason I say that is because if you can sell your gas, then you can put it back into NEO, increasing your holdings, and then that'll generate more gas. So it's pretty much compounding interest in the sense of your dividend. And also, if you're curious about how much gas you could calculate or how much you would generate if you had it in your wallet, we could also just throw in a number. Let's say, for example, I own 1,000 NEO or something. You can calculate it here, and you can see after a few seconds, it'll provide a theoretical and a actual calculation on how much gas you would generate. And if you want to know how much that would be in USD, you can see it right there. So definitely a nice amount of income right here for owning only 1,000 NEO. Really interesting. And then also, I want to go towards referencing you towards some resources. As I already showed you some of the Twitter pages earlier that you can follow, I want to reference you towards a few fellow YouTubers that I like and some really cool videos they've done either on NEO with its team or NEO's technology. I want to first start off with Box Mining. I love Box Mining to death. He's an awesome YouTuber, and I understand why he's one of the bigger ones out there. He's a really genuine guy, does a great job, and especially in this interview, he was able to have the fortunate opportunity to sit down with Da, who is the founder, the co-founder of NEO, and they have a really nice, humble interview, just going back and forth, answering as many questions as they can, and talking very optimistically, yet simply at the same time in a casual sense about the project and how it's been in the works for quite some time. So I'm going to leave a link down below. You should definitely go check it out, and definitely subscribe to Box Mining. I like him. He's a cool guy. Next up, though, I want to talk about Ivan on Tech's video. Ivan on Tech is a fellow programmer. He is extremely informed on how blockchain technology works comparative to most YouTubers out there who, like myself, for example, who aren't extensive programmers, who don't always understand the back end of things. And Ivan on Tech is one of my favorite YouTubers. He's a humble guy, very smart. And in this video, he talks about the back end, and he shows you in a very simple explanation how NEO's network works and how the coding looks and functions in the sense of allowing the diversification of languages to be applied and re-implemented into NEO's framework. So definitely an awesome video for you to go check out. So those are some good resources. That's kind of the fundamental and technical analysis on NEO, everyone. I really want to go back and say one thing. The overall analysis and summary of this video is that I believe NEO is going to give Ethereum a run for its money. And if it does, and if Ethereum stays as its current valuations and continues to get adopted, that is going to mean NEO is going to, at the least, 10x, going 10 times its valuation. Is that an ambitious statement? Yes. Was it ambitious when they made it for Ethereum? Yes. But I gotta tell you all, this is something where I think the crazy ones, or at least who seem like the crazy ones, are going to benefit in the long term. I'm ambitious on NEO. I've been ambitious since I started this channel and before I even did my video on ant shares. I really believe NEO is going to be a project for the long term. And I think it's something you shouldn't swing trade because you're going to miss on opportunities like I did just a few days ago on price action. I not only want to benefit in the investment of it, but I really believe in NEO's technology in the long term. And it's so cool to see that China's first massively adopted cryptocurrency has such a backing behind it, a serious team, the technology and the ambitions to truly build the smart economy. So that all being said, though I'm overtly optimistic on it, I'd like to get some critical feedback in the comments. Are you guys optimistic on NEO? Are you negative on NEO? Is there some questions that I didn't answer that you'd like to get answered about NEO? If you like any of that, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you as always. But until then, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.